It is a Friday. It is the Valenti show with Rico. I'm Stoney in for Mike. You'll have to put up with me one more show. So, yes, 3 hours and 58 minutes if you're counting it down. Kenny Cott and the Hatchet Man are here. What's up, Rico?
What's going on, Stoney?
How are you?
Good, man. I am good. It's Friday.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful Friday. Had some very interesting, if not one unspectacular, one spectacular finish to a sporting event.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that.
We had a topic die right there in front of us.
Yes, we did. We did. We had the, because sports radio is basically formulated on, shall we say, just guys hanging out at the bar, just coming up with crazy crap, right?
Opinions, hypotheticals.
Yes. And our hypothetical, and we're not going to really get into it, but our hypothetical was, because we all knew that Matthew Stafford was meeting with the Rams today. Hypothetically, would you do a redo? Would you trade Goff, if you're the Lions, for Stafford? Straight up. Forgetting what the Rams would do, knowing it would never freaking happen.
Don't worry about draft capital and all that.
No.
Just you take, you know what? We're going to swap them right back.
Yeah, but, we kind of wanted to hear what the people had to say. And right now it's moot. So we're going to, put that away for another couple of years till Stafford's contract is up again. And at age, 40, he thinks he can still be good. Maybe.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, exactly. Last night at the Little Caesars Arena, maybe it was because Kenny Cott was not there that the home team did not win, but the Red Wings were defeated by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first of the back-to-back. They play, obviously, at the Shoe tomorrow for the Stadium Series. I heard it's sold out, 90,000 people are going to be there. At least I'm sure on the secondary markets you can get some decent seats. Anyway, that said, the Wings lose. And it's funny because I was, in watching the game, I said, Larkin and Raymond, they really weren't doing much. And, and then after the game, I want you, if you haven't heard this already, and if you have, you'll hear it again. Todd McClellan doing something that very few coaches will do. Right. He's talking about Dylan Larkin, but before that, he's talking about how some of the the big time players needed to step up, and then one was missing, and then somebody asked if it was talking about Larkin, and I noticed a lot of the pucks were bouncing off his stick last night, and maybe his mind was elsewhere, whatever. But whether you think that Dylan Larkin had a good game, a bad game, whatever, that's not where I want to go here.
Okay.
Very rarely do you find coaches who will actually basically throw their star player under the bus publicly. Now, maybe he told, he said, I'll talk to him about it tomorrow, meaning today. Maybe he talked to him after the game and said, listen, I'm going to throw this out there. So I'm going to warn you. You're the captain. I'm just letting you know I'm going to pick on you publicly. Maybe he did that. I don't know if he did or he didn't. But I just found it refreshing, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And I know there could be, if there are some players in sports who are, shall we say, for lack of a better word, fragile when it comes to public criticism. And I don't know if Larkin's one of those guys or not. I wouldn't think so. He's the captain of the team. He did play good in the aforementioned, Four Nations. And maybe it was just a couple of games he's had since then where he hasn't been, back up to snuff. But you know what? If the fans and the media, if we're going to call out players, if they're deserved, I don't think you should make a habit of it. But you know what? Set an example. He's showing the other members of this hockey team that, nobody is beyond criticism, whether publicly or not. So, you know what? If Larkin is arguably your best player, you go out, you say something publicly, and you move on. I had no problem with that.
No, Sony, I think it was very calculated. And the last thing you said, I think, is the best point. If you can go after Larkin, he can go after anybody.
Yes.
The fact that he didn't go after a lesser player, he went after the top dog and say, hey, it's him. He's got to do better. Mm-hmm. Four Nations is behind us. It sends a message to the team. Nobody is safe. Coach will call you out publicly. And it also tells me that Larkin does have some thick skin. He may not have even ran it past him.
Right.
But he knows who he is, and he knows he can handle this. Yes, I said this about you, and we're going to sit and talk about it.
Right.
Well, Coach, why'd you have to bring me up by name? Well, why'd you have to suck last night?
Right. You're the captain. I can bring you up. And, if you have a problem with
Comes
it,
with the C.
Yeah. If you have a problem with it, well, maybe you shouldn't wear the C. Or if you have a big problem with it, well, we have a week till the trading deadline.
But I like the message that he sent was,
yes,
it wasn't just about Larkin. It was a shot across the entire locker room. Hey, guys, everybody, we need to pick it up. We're in a playoff hunt, and you have to play your best hockey. You're about to play a bunch of games against teams that I like to say you're equal in the next few games. Some separation can come if you win these games, but I need you, starting with the game in Columbus, everybody has to show up.
Yeah, you got to get those 2 points back that you surrendered at home last night. And whether it's in overtime or not, you got to get 2 points.
So let's ask the hockey elite.
Yeah, I mean, I found it very refreshing that he did this because think about Lalonde. Lalonde could and would never do something like this in the media. He's done the opposite at every turn when he was here. McClellan has the respect across the league, across the locker room. This is a coach who has the pedigree to make a statement like this in the media, and the players in the locker room, I guarantee, respect it. Because and you know what else I can probably guarantee you? He's going into the locker room and saying that exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Right.
This is the standard. If you don't live up to the standard and people ask about you, guess what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
That.
And I'd be stunned if Dylan Larkin had a problem with it too.
I would doubt it. I would absolutely doubt it. And if not, then he shouldn't be wearing the C.
Exactly.
That's very soft, if you ask me.
248-539-9797. We have a ticket text at all on this from Wings fans. Yeah, it's not just, we can, obviously we're just talking about this, but in other situations, Dan Campbell doesn't really call out. He kind of threw Goff under the bus once, I believe, in the past few years. But other than that, most times
I can't remember the last time.
Yeah, he said he's got to play much better, or something like that, in one of the games. I don't think it was this past season. It was one before. JB Bickerstaff, I don't think has done that. Obviously, Monty Williams didn't even know who was on his team.
That tall number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name again?
Yeah.
He needs to play better.
Yeah. The last coach who I really remember doing that, and he was refreshing, but he turned out to be not a really good coach here, and the team didn't have much success, although they did make the playoffs. No, that was under Casey. I'm talking about Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, Van Gundy.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't care. He said, listen, you asked me a question, I'm going to answer the question. Which is what he should. 248-539-9797.
Someone says Larkin should be publicly shamed for one bad game. He doesn't deserve that. So he's saying he shouldn't be publicly shamed for one bad game.
Well, I think it was more than one bad game. He hasn't played really well since the Four Nations, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at the stats, but...
And that's another thing, too. We saw how well he can play best on best in the Four Nations.
Yes.
This is not best on best. This is you versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. You know what the standard is for your style of play. Live up to it.
Now, look, I know maybe you don't enjoy playing against your former Michigan roommate, who's having a hell of a season.
It's hockey. This happens all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. 248-539-9797.
Dylan Larkin, to me, is not a captain. He is above average player. I wish they would find somebody else because he sucks.
Okay.
Wow.
He sucks?
Wow.
Look, I don't think Dylan Larkin's a superstar. I don't think he's a top 20 player in this league, okay? But to say that he sucks is ridiculous.
He wouldn't be in the best on best tournament if he sucked.
And how did he play in the best on best?
He played very, very well.
Yes, he raised his game to compete with the best on best, and in my uneducated eyes, he raised his stature to me.
And now we know how well he can play when he's at his best.
Yes.
That's the standard.
Exactly. All right, 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Don't forget the 4 o'clock hour. We have Who Said It. Also, we'll have our football, Blitzes football today. All that on the Valenti Show with Rico, 97.1 The Ticket.